Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new Tinyleader HD. So it's nothing else than the 85 tiny whoop FPV machine brushless, of course, but this time equipped or mounted with a new HD combo. So you will be able to shoot some 1080p 60 frames per second thanks to the Cadex Turtle 2 combo, and this one is also able to shoot and broadcast your favorite FPV signal in the 5.8 GHz band. So what we have here the FlySky version, but you can find it in DSM-X or in FlySky, or if you have your own receiver, you can pick up this module in PNP version. All the instructions can be downloaded, no real support paper included in the bundle, but let's discover the contents. Okay, the tour, the packaging is very small because we have only the machine and two stickers, that's all. No instruction manual, no spare props, no battery, nothing, no accessories at all. So we can start directly with the machine inspection. It's it's more or less only based on the TNP plastic structure, except the bottom carbon plate, where we can find on the lower 1 mm lower plate, welcoming at least a fourth of the duct system welcoming them. So in terms of solidity, you can feel that it's super flexible, but at least the duct system is more or less well attached to these screws, thanks to these screws to the carbon frame layer. What we have this upper TPU based canopy structure with a kind of shark or dragon design, and here we can find the big large lens with a large field of view of the Cadex Turtle 2 camera. Be aware, first remark, this one, look at the aperture of the yellow hole is limiting completely the down tilt angle of this Cadex camera. Look at the minimum down tilt angle is something about 15 degrees. So if you want to fly this machine indoors with slow motion, it could be problematic because you will have this angle. Okay, so the first things to do will be to cut, okay, to enlarge this aperture to have a lower angle for the tilt orientation of the lens camera. For the upper one, we don't have not so much choices. It's something about 30-35 degrees maximum. So you are bound in between 25 to 35. Okay, so definitively you will need to increase the aperture to open that. Let's continue. And when I receive that, the first thing you can notice that the two front motors or prop system is more elongated versus the rear one. Here we have 70 millimeters from the left front motor to the front right motors versus 52 for the rear system. So I'm starting to raise a caution about the Betaflight configuration, especially in the mixture setup. Because if they use the normal quad X, maybe some better optimized situation could be addressed if we do a custom mixer in order to take this different dimension between the front motors to the rear motors. I will inspect that during the Betaflight tour. Let's continue. So when I receive it, I've got the FlySky version. We have this one, a basic D8, but this one at least offer the telemetry, okay, and the RSSI, so that's great. A simple one, but should offer between 200 and 300 meters of range, and not so bad. This one is hidden here between the camera and the main central electronic tower. I first of all pull out this receiver from this native location in order to give you where to press the bind button. Here it's on this side. You have this micro tiny bind button with a copper base here, so not really hard. Good news, if you power the system via the USB or USB power bank, it's working to power also the receiver, so no need really to plug the battery via the XT30 connector. And why I also pull out this receiver is to show you two important elements. The first one, we have this two position micro GST connector with 1 mm of pitch. Okay, this one is used to connect for the Cadex Turtle tube an OSD board to control and edit some settings. And this board is not included in the packaging. It means that we are locked with the default settings of the Cadex camera. And for example, this one turned into NTSC, but the auto recording is turned off by default. And in theory, it's not a big deal, but you have to know that the unique power button and button of the turtle is pretty badly located. Look at where is it. You have to remove everything, and here we have, I hope you will be able to see this button here. But remember, the receiver will be hidden in this same location. It means that I strongly advise in the field to take a T-Speak, okay, to be able to press the recording and to stop the recording. So it's really the first annoying point of this machine. The access of the turtle to main button is absolutely not obvious and is not the more catastrophic point. Let's start and continue directly with, in my point of view, is the most catastrophic. First of all, we have also the speaker, okay, not the speaker, sorry, the microphone, okay, free in the air, so you have to install it very well in the main canopy structure to not be in contact with the props. But let's continue with the most problematic point. It's concerning the video transmitter. We have 48 channel divided in 6 band, okay, and with some output power between 25 milliwatts, 100 milliwatts and 200 milliwatts. You have to know that by default, by the factory, this one is locked in 25 milliwatt. So to whatever, if you want to, for example, manually select the V frag, the V band, or unlock this factory setting blocked in 25 milliwatt, you will need to access to the video transmitter button. And this one is very well hidden and pretty hard to access. So where is it, this button? This one, okay, you have to flip this Tinyleader, and here you have this kind of hole, okay, with a form and shape of I would say a kind of arc. And here, okay, if you look closely more on the upper part, you can access thanks to very thin tip to this button here, okay, is where you can see the extremity of my pick. You can touch and press the bind button. This video transmitter button is absolutely not obvious, and if you want to unlock the factory setting, we will need to press and hold this button during 20 seconds. Be aware when you will do this operation to not touch anything else at this button, to not make a short, okay, and to kill your video transmitter or more completely all the system. So definitively the access of the video transmitter button is awful, really awful design. It's incredible. So of course you can disassemble everything, but I think it's even a worse nightmare. Let's continue with the inspection. I want to give you immediately the size and the weight of this machine. Look at the weight. So what we have a machine, okay, with an F4 board, okay, and weights. Look that we are close to, okay, if I'm well installed, 55.6 gram. Oh my god. Okay, this one got some built-in 4-in-1 up to 8 ampere ESC, and it's announced to support up to 3S battery. With 8 ampere maximum, I'm a little bit afraid that some MOSFET will burn very fast in 3S configuration. So imagine the machine 55 grams standalone compared to the, for example, the Edge in trash can in 2S as well. 33 grams, almost 34, and this one is not the lightest 2S machine. Okay, this one can do some 3S. How long? That's really the open question according to the durability of the MOSFET. We will see. And this one is super heavy. I can feel that, wow, you will need to fly it in 3S, but how long you will be able to fly without cooking anything? I don't know, we will see. But in 2S, I'm afraid it will be super heavy. It's a Duke system. At least the props are well protected by all the Duke system. So that's a good point. It's not usually, sometime you can find the prop just above the Duke system, so not really protecting. Here is the case, so we should benefit both the protection and the lift effect of the Duke system. The structure is, here we have some nylon Duke system, TPU based top canopy. Okay, we can find here the micro USB. The F4 board comes with Betaflight 3.5.1, and at least good news is pretty well configured. We have the S-Bus pre-configured for the default FierceSky. Okay, so it's for UART1, and the UART3 is dedicated to the video transmitter control thanks to the RC TRAMP protocol, and it's well configured out of the box. One remark: this flight control board don't offer another free UART, and it's a pity, because if there was another free one, we could connect two wires to control as well the Cadex Turtle to this UART in order to control via a radio switch or two radio switch the camera recording, and no more need to find this super hidden front left button for the camera. So it's a pity that there is no free UART. What I can say, another remark: look, the battery tray is super narrow, and it's advised to fly this machine with two 350 mAh 3S, and you can see that is absolutely not fitting. I will have to disassemble as well the battery tray to install more rubber band to attach more of this battery. So some modes to do: enlarge this camera mount, okay, to down tilt to something about 0 degrees the camera for slow indoor slow motion flight. Okay, design or mode the battery tray to welcome a larger 3S battery. Okay, and we will have to see if, for example, the custom mixer could improve the situation. Another remark: you can see that the props configuration use the prop out configuration. Okay, so we'll see if everything is well tuned in terms of PIDs, in terms of motor rotation, if the prop out is well configured, because one reviewer received this machine completely unconfigured. We will see if it's the case or not. So to conclude, and I forgot to mention also another very important point: where to insert the micro SD card, and this one must be inserted in the bottom right location. Look that we have here the micro SD slot. Okay, I hope you will be able to see. Here we have the micro SD slot, and this one, okay, is on the same level than the Duke. So it means that if you insert the micro SD card, it will be okay, but to eject it will be problematic, because the micro SD card, when ejected, will make some pressure on the top silver cover metal of the micro SD port. It means versus time that this metallic cover can break, and it means that no more HD recording possible. So be aware when you will insert and eject the micro SD card to not stress this metallic part, and it can break very easily. Okay, so in design there is a lot of improvement, a lot of room. Okay, and for example, it's super heavy. Okay, I'm not accusing the Cadex Turtle. I think it's a little bit more heavier than the Runcam Split Mini 2, but no OSD board. Very hard access of the Runcam, on the Turtle to a button. Even more for the video transmitter button. The mixture nursery is down, and and it's super heavy, and it needs to be powered in 3S. It means that the MOSFET only support 8 ampere. I'm afraid that it will it will burn after a huge throttle input. We will see. Okay, and the relatively I would say the problem of the micro SD card insertion and ejection. So a lot of problem accumulated of this machine on the design, and I even didn't started to fly it. Okay, so we'll see if it's a good flyer or not. We'll see if there are some jello or not, etc., etc. So my prior first inspection, my priors are not good. Okay, but whatever, let's continue. I will mod it, okay, to improve what can be improved for free. And now it's time to go more in Betaflight, okay, and then later in the field. Okay, so let's do the Betaflight configuration tour of the Tinyleader HD. So I'm on the COM10, and immediately strongly advise each time to dump the default config file. In a case if you did mistakes, anything else, you can restore thanks to this default config file saved before. So each time always save it into the default folder location. Okay, so I already did that. I dumped this file and now I'm okay, and of course I will provide this default factory file in drop.magnet.com. So let's start the tour. So I will need to reboot the machine, and let's reconnect. Let's check the port, and as I already mentioned in the first part, the S-bus receiver is connected to the UART1. As you can see, the serial RX option is turned on, and for the UART2 we have the ERC TREM protocol selected. So if you refresh a new Betaflight version, don't forget to activate these two options. Let's now have a look to the configuration. We can see that we have the basic default quad X. So the 70 millimeters versus 52 millimeters of distances between each motor are not taken into account, at least for the mixed. We have the classic quad X. So maybe some little optimization can be gained. We have something about 70 divided by 52, so it's not a big number, but maybe some optimization can be done. So in this case we will have to select a custom one, okay, or even better, enter the command directly in the CLI. D-Shot 600 is selected by default. It's great. We have 8 kilos. We are actually 11, 12, so we can push up to 8 kilos without any problem. No specific board alignment. We have the name of the Tinyleader. We have the receiver S-bus and more serial based, and more particularly S-bus. We have the OSD turned on by default and anti-gravity, so it's up to you if you want it all the time. I prefer to activate it all the time, but I will activate permanently the dynamic filtering. Okay, let's check that. We have the buzzer for poor because we don't have a real buzzer, so we can activate both options. And we have the between treble to loud sound, so it's up to you. The volume must be selected via barely configurator or barely suits. It's not possible directly through Betaflight. So we keep the 5 in terms of tuning, and I will save that. Okay, we will need to reboot one more time. Let's check the I guess power battery is the default. Oh no, we have something much more lower. So it means that this machine is heavy, and they anticipated that we will be a huge voltage drop under load. So 2.6 for minimum cell seal. Wow, it can attack the chemistry of the battery. Be aware of that. Before you can see this minimum cell warning message, maybe you already kill your battery. Be aware of that. So failsafe, I guess, is the default one. Is it? And in terms of PIDs, I don't see any. Oh, we have a very fast feed forward, and okay, we have something more linear. Oh, why we keep this default PIDs and rate settings. Let's check the filter settings. I don't see anything that classic, so it's okay. DPA, no specific. Okay, we are done. For the receiver, I will turn on the radio. Of course, I already bound the receiver. And look that we have good news on aux5. We have the RSSI, so you can enable it in aux5. It was not turned on by default, so we will be able to enjoy the RSSI on the OSD. I will apply a deadband as well. It's always good. Okay. And I will check that I'm more or less well centered on the value of 1500. It's okay, and we are more or less also on the between 1050 to 2000, 1950. So it's okay in terms of range and scale. Okay, so let's go to the mode. Oh, we have an arming on the upper position of the aux1, so I will apply more in the upper. Okay, like this. And for the other element, I will activate the buzzer. Here is a beeper buzzer, and it will be for me in the middle position like this, and one is on the bottom. It will be completely disarmed, so it's okay for me. The aux2 will be the flight mode. Oops, like this, and I will activate the angle, horizon. Okay, and aux2, and after I will have the acro plus anti-gravity. Okay, yeah, aux2, and I will have the air mode as well. aux2 like this, and I can save. And I've got also another aux3 available, and it will be the flap over crash. Let's check that. Yes, so it's activated great by default. So not all of the change in terms of flight modes. Let's continue more in OSD layout right now. We are turning NTSC, that's great. So I will display now the RSSI because I've got it. So I will install it more, something like this. The main battery voltage timer craft name, I will disable it. I will activate the throttle and the crosshair. So I will put the battery more in the top corner like this. And I've got, what is it? This is the warning message. I will disable it. Okay, and what is missing? There is something missing probably. Crosshair and the flight time and the flight mode as well. Flight mode here. Up, and voila, we are ready to go. We'll save. As usual, I will change the font to a more larger one. Clarity, upload the font. Take a couple of seconds. Pretty fast, and I think we are ready to go. Yes. Okay, and voila. So we check the USD. Yes, sounds pretty well. We can a little bit maybe put some alarm on the real battery we are using, and voila. So maybe I will increase the level of the buzzer for poor man in barely configurator, and increase to something about the volume of 200, maybe not to the maximum to 255, but something, because I don't want to damage the motors and so on. And I will also decrease the idle timing to something to 1 minute or 2 minutes maximum. In case you lost your machine, it will auto ring. Okay, auto buzz. That's pretty important. Let's do that. Okay, so I am in Belay configurator. I will press connect, and then I will need to connect the battery. And if it's possible, I will press read setup. If everything is okay, I got everything, so it's great. So I will decrease the beacon to something 1 minute and increase the beacon beep strength like this to something to 200. Okay. And I don't remember each time which one is it, so I will increase both, and I will activate the brake and stop. I will write setup, and you will write for the all for ESC. So you can see that we have effectively the prop out configuration, reverse for the first one, and so on, normal, normal, and reverse. So we're ready to go. So if I disconnect, you will hear that the battery is much more louder. It's effectively, it will be much more easy to find your lost machine. So now let's go in the field. Okay, the demo flight of the Tinyleader. So as you can see, I performed the mode in order to down tilt a little bit the lens orientation. Now I can down tilt a little bit, something about 10 degrees, and if you want to be close to zero, you will need also to cut here, okay, a little bit the lateral side, because it's partially blocked by the rear side of the turtle camera. But be aware, if you are doing that, really the cage will be very weak. So I think this is a nominal angle you can reach without too much risk. I also removed the, as you can see, the battery tray. Was a good for a 2S 300 milliamps per hours, but I want to try more in 3S because this machine is already super heavy. Okay, so we will see, and I hope that the 8 ampere, or assumed to be 8 ampere ESC, won't burn, won't be cooked. Okay, so because I read somewhere that maybe it's not real, at least for the first batch of flight controller, that it was not really some real 8 ampere FET MOSFET. So we will see if in 3S, after a huge throttle input, I will kill or not the flight controller board. I hope not. So I will fly here in my new kid garden spot. It's almost wind-free. The best situation. I will fly it first in loss condition to give you an overview of the loss condition and the punch out, okay, in 3S, and continue in FPV. Let's go. Okay, time to power. As you can see, the ESC buttons are now much more louder. I will turn on the transmitter. Okay, I'm here. Check that in my FPV goggles I got everything. I also turn on the I turn on the auto recording, okay, and then I will press recording now the FPV signal. Today is extremely sunny, so the best situation to capture how good is not or not the Cadex Turtle 2. Let's arm the machine and let's go. Little bit noisy. Okay, you can hear, not so bad. Flying mostly, and I noticed indoors that I didn't have any jellos at all. So okay, so let's try a punch shot. One, go. Okay, not so bad. It's more or less equivalent of the Etchin trash can in 2S. A little bit less than the Etchin trash can in 2S. But it's not so bad. Maybe my battery is a little bit weak also, but it's a nice flyer, huh? By the way. It's fast. So in a wind-free condition, it's not so bad. Look that. A pretty fun flyer. Okay, so as you may know, with such kind of machine, I will stop in lost condition, not so bad. I will disarm, and as you may know, your best friend with this machine out of the box will be, stopping here, will be the teeth pick. Okay, you will have your best friend with this machine in order to stop the recording. So if I'm okay, I will be able to press it. Each time it's a little bit tricky, but I will manage to. Okay, I should be okay. And if it's stopped, of course the big wreck letters are disappearing from the signal. So now it's time to go in FPV. Let's conclude about this Tinyleader HD. Well, if I got some prior about the design, especially for the really bad location of the video transmitter button and the recording, the absence of another free UART, for example, to control the camera triggering. For example, the battery tray not really compatible with 3S and some other, and the possibility of to have a very weak FET, okay, with only 8 ampere per FET for 3S setup could be a little bit weak. Um, there's a lot of drawback, but there are also ton of plenty positive element. And I would say the main important one, it's completely jello free. Incredible. It's pretty fun to fly. Really, I really enjoy this machine. It's jello free, incredible, good light rendering, etc. No extra latency with a CADEX Sturgill 2. Really, really, very nice machine. So, if there are some negative points, I think the main positive one to be jello free win the game. And for this, especially as you can see, if you can mode the lens by cutting the bottom part of the TPU cage, and for example, as I did to install a rubber band instead, if you do such kind of mode, this machine is pretty fly. In 3S it's okay, it's not ultra powerful, it's noisy, okay, so more an indoors flyer, but today, like today, more or less in wintry condition, is super fun to fly acro compatible, not a real prop wash when you're ending your acro style figure, really pretty good. So the range is great. Everything I set to 100 milliwatts, and you saw that the control range and the FPV range was great. So finally, if we are sure that the FET, especially with the second batch, now more stronger, real ampere, so more 3S reliable, I can advise this machine. I can, and you saw I crashed it many times, and it was extremely durable. The frame had nothing, so that's great. So for the jello free, the durability of the system, even it's a little bit heavy, etc., the position, etc., I can recommend this machine. Pretty fun. So I really like it, and I think for me it's one of the first 85mm machine I have jello free and able to film in HD. So yeah, it's great. And remember the fiasco of this SBC Maker Key1 and the Diaton. This one are great flyer, but a lot of vibration, wavy, so no free lunch. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this new video. Please submit, it's good for my YouTube referencement. And see you next time in a new video. Bye bye.